On today's episode of Horror Movie Talk, we are reviewing The Green Inferno, directed by Eli Roth. Today's episode was chosen by our patrons. If you want to make us watch your favorite horror movie, head on over to patreon.com/horrormovietalk.
Is this a metal thing?
Yes.
Little taste.
David, what is this?
It's pretty thick.
Great.
I have to kill a lot of people. Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
I have big tits and a tiny vagina.
Oil me up, Daddy. I can't believe that Bryce prefers big tits. Mistletoe alert. This is backcountry.
This guy was a real jerk.
How long can Hugo being pregnant?
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Oh, she's such a dick, David.
Okay, everybody, put on your corpse handling gloves.
Ew.
Hoodie Picasso.
Horror.
Hello, everybody. My name is Max.
And I'm Bryce.
See, this is why we can't say our own names.
I was looking at something else.
Can I say both of your names?
Yeah, say our names.
Mine?
Your intro.
Okay. I'm horror personality and comic writer J.M. Brandt.
There you are. Okay. Yeah, today we have JM with us. He's here to talk about a horror project that he's been working on, and we'll give it a little shout out so you guys can go give that some love. But basically, he's just here to hang. So welcome, JM.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And this is Horror Movie Talk. We're a silly and opinionated horror movie review show. New releases always get priority, but we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible. Don't expect a full recap, but strap in for some hot takes as we dive into what we liked and hated about this movie. Make sure you rate and review anywhere you're listening. Also check out horrormovie.com to find links to our socials or call 682-253-4468 and leave us a voicemail. Like I said, we've got a great show for you today. We will be reviewing The Green Inferno. We'll start out by giving a spoiler-free synopsis and review. After we give our score, we'll jump into the spoiler section. After the end of the episode, we will be discussing JM's project. JM, do you want to just give us a brief outline of what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm primarily a comic book writer, but this upcoming project is a charity comic anthology and art book that's benefiting immigrant and LGBTQIA rights.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool, and I'm really excited to hear kind of what that comic that you have out is about. Do you have other comics?
I do, yeah. So my first book is a mini-series called Swamp Dogs, which is kind of like my love letter to old school grindhouse horror movies. And that's out from Scout Comics. It's partially finished, and we're about to finish it. And then I have a one-shot splatter western called Swallower of Shades, which is about a mummy in an Old West freak show. So those are my two books that you could buy on their own. And then I have a story inside of an anthology called Holiday Spirits Volume 3, which is a fucked up fairy tale about an undead Santa Claus.
You got range. Wow, I'm excited to check those out. All right, let's get into this review. The Green Inferno can be found for rent on YouTube, Amazon, Apple TV, and Fandango for about $4. Where did you guys end up watching this?
I sailed the 7 seas and found a Plex server that might have had it on it.
No. That's actually how I watched this the first time when I was a teenager. But that was back before I knew it was wrong, so.
Right. Yeah, well, I don't want to take any food off of Eli Roth's table. Thanksgiving, right? So I got it on Google TV or YouTube, whatever they call it now. I do Google rewards, so I had a bunch of credits for it.
Cool. Yeah, so you'll have to pay a little bit of money unless you're a bad person like Bryce.
Or if you have a friend that's cool and has a Plex server stacked with movies.
All right.
There is that. I also kind of feel like
wrong.
I feel like you could probably find it at like Goodwill or Salvation Army. It feels like one of those movies, right?
Mm.
Yeah. People are just getting rid of this left and right. The synopsis is Justine is a young college student with a big heart. After learning about the horrors of female genital mutilation in foreign countries, she becomes interested in joining a local group of activists. While working with the group to stop deforestation in the Amazon, their plane crashes deep in the forest, which would be bad enough on its own. However, this forest just so happens to be home to cannibalistic natives who quickly capture the very people who came to protect them. The Green Inferno is a shocking and disgusting movie. As an homage to Cannibal Holocaust, Eli Roth makes sure to stuff the Green Inferno with plenty of over-the-top kills filled to the brim with blood, guts, and eyeballs. While the first viewing of this movie left me feeling depressed and hollow, years later, on my third watch, some of the horror magic has become somewhat juvenile and silly to me. It's still enjoyable to watch, but I can't help but roll my eyes a bit at the way the tribe is depicted as the most evil, bloodthirsty killers imaginable. Such a portrayal might even spark questions as to whether it's even okay to depict tribal natives as savages in such a crude way. However, learning more about how this movie was filmed kind of brings back some of the wholesome nature of it for me. The cannibals in this movie are played by an actual tribe in the Amazon who apparently had a blast filming this movie. At the end of the day, this is a gross movie that can be sometimes scary, but often a little goofy. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. JM, what did you think?
Well, so this is my second time watching it. I saw it in the theater because I have a love-hate relationship with Eli Roth. Mm-hmm. I love his ideas and where he's coming from, and his fandom is exactly, the same as mine. But I always felt a little hollow watching his stuff up until I love Cabin Fever, and I loved Thanksgiving, but everything in between, not so much. I enjoyed this a lot more than I did the first time, and I would probably give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I loved Hostel. That's still one of my favorite horror movies, and I think it does it really well. Cabin Fever is a little thinner, I think, on quality. I think the biggest thing that holds Eli Roth back is Eli Roth in terms of it's very obvious that it's being written and directed by a straight white guy with the straight white guy attitude that's straight out of the early 2000s. I know this because I am also a straight white guy from the early 2000s. So it's in this movie when the blonde friend of Justine is talking, it's oh, that's just Eli Roth talking. That's what his opinions are about activists and stuff. And I know this because they're my opinions on activists. It's yep, that take sounds familiar. And so it's a lot of the realism and the character development is pretty thin because he's just more interested in the thing and the gimmick than, filling it out with, believability or character development. That being said, he is good at the gimmick of the cheap thrill. And this is okay. If you're going in for gore and, a horror movie based on the scary cannibal natives, this is a really good example of that. It's obviously an homage to Cannibal Holocaust and, previous films that cover this. But a lot of it is really ham-handed and just doesn't have any depth to it. I'd give it just slightly below average because of that. So I'd give it a 4 out of 10. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not great. And at parts, it's actually very dumb. Yeah.
This really is the ethical Cannibal Holocaust because you don't have to watch animals dying on screen, but you still get still get the cannibal aspect. I think the visuals are also pretty impressive sometimes in this movie. I mean, the body paint that the natives use is very eye-catching. The scenery is beautiful. Those overhead shots of like the trees are just incredible. I also really like the name, the Green Inferno. It's unique, and it kind of reminds me of how what's that movie, Midsummer, where it's like you're scared, but it's not dark, it's not creepy. It's or it is creepy, but it's not creepy in the spooky haunted house sort of way. It's creepy in a whole different way, where the sun could be shining the whole time and you're still scared, which I think is impressive.
Yeah, I think the biggest asset to the movie is the native tribe that they're using as extras and the location in the Amazon. I was hoping, I like the title too, but I was really hoping that there was going to be some kind of flame with boron compounds or copper compounds to explain it.
It looks like there's 2 other Green Infernos, which I had no idea up until now. Yeah. It's an amazing title. I agree with you, Max. And the whole idea of just being unsafe in the daylight it's a nice change of pace for horror fans, right? Like you don't often get the daytime spookies.
And often in this movie, it's almost like when nightfall comes, it's almost the safer option because they're all asleep, right? Nothing really all that bad happens at night. It's when they're awake that you got to worry.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to head into this mid-roll. If you've been listening to these commercials, you should know that you do not have to. We have a Patreon where if you sign up for our Patreon, you will get ad-free content. You will get lots of bonus content. And you can even petition for your favorite horror movie to be the next one we review. This was chosen by one of our patrons, I think, Taylor. So shout out Taylor. Thanks for this recommendation. And people talked about it in the comments, and they were like, yeah, let's do this one. So it really is a good way to be a part of the show and get kind of what you want out of it. Also go to horrormovietalk.com/shop, where you can find merchandise such as t-shirts, hoodies, and hats. And finally, you can check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel. He does all the artwork for the show. He does the thumbnails. He does the logo. So anytime you buy something from us, you're supporting him. He also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans. So contact him at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram and make your artistic dreams come true. And tell him we sent you. Again, if you want to find your voice on the show, you can call 682-253-4468. Thanks again for listening, and let's get into the spoilers. So I thought it was interesting that you said that Justine's friend in the beginning can kind of be seen as Eli Roth in the movie, because I think I would have seen that if I was looking for it, but all I was thinking is, why is this character here? Like, she almost adds nothing to the beginning of the movie, and then she's not in the rest of it. And her acting is off. Something's weird about it.
It's atrocious, right?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, so do you guys know who she is?
I don't.
Okay. She's an indie musician. She was like a indie music darling for a couple years. Her name's Sky Ferreira. And I thought when I first saw the movie that Eli Roth just had a crush on her and wanted to get her into a movie in, different states of undress. I thought she was really good at talking like she was really bitchy and mean. But the acting just didn't follow. It was like she could sound mean, but she still was a terrible actress.
Honestly, the acting is probably the worst part of this movie.
It's overall,
if you
it's
want
bad.
to see, and a lot of it, is a little bit because I think a lot of these actors English is not their first language. And so if you have ever wanted to see a movie where it was like, what would this movie be like if every character was played by Gal Gadot? This is like a good example. of just very on the nose line delivery. And I think Lorenza Izzo, the main character actress, she's probably the best actor out of all of them, which is good. But yeah, for the most part, it's very one note in all of the acting. But they don't really have a lot to go off of, and there's not a lot of character development. But even the ones that do have character turns or interesting things going on, it's very surface level. Like the guy that plays Alejandro is just like, all right, I don't really get what he's trying to do here. It's like a character type, but there's not really the proper setup, and the writing's not there to deliver it, other than like, now he's bad, and it's just a turn. You're like, oh, okay.
Sometimes he's delivering his lines and he's like looking away, and I wonder if he's just reading the lines off of like a piece of cardboard.
Yeah. I don't think ESL excuses his acting performance. He's pretty flat. He's pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know who I'm actually really impressed by their acting performance is the tribe itself, because everyone you see in red, I think like any of the ones that are like have different colors or like any like lines, I guess you could call them, are actual actors, but the rest of them are this actual tribe that they found, and apparently the story is like they've been trying to get work and they have not had work in a long time and were desperate for jobs, and so Eli Roth hired them to be the tribe in this movie, and they did a fantastic job. Like they all are terrifying, and if you see the behind the scenes footage of them, like they are having so much fun. They love being a part of it, and so all around it seems like it was a pretty good way to do it. And I'm glad that that's kind of how they did it, because it does feel a little awkward to me to hire a bunch of, westernized Native Americans who are actors play like these indigenous tribes who are savage,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's very old fashioned. Just be like, yeah, they're just savages. Like, look at them. They look different than us. And I just assume that they're cannibals. And in this case, it's just like playing to that baseline fear of people that are different or from a different culture. I turned to my wife and I was like, I don't know, Aaron, every cannibal movie that I've seen has a giant pot, and this one doesn't. So I don't know how accurate this is.
That's true.
Like,
how are you going to like do the Bugs Bunny ladling the soup over your head scene with that?
Yeah, they're having
pot?
people steaks, and as far as I know, cannibals only deal in stews. So, but it's about that subtle with the concept of the cannibalistic tribe.
So Justine decides to join this group of activists who, I mean, could they be more insufferable? I couldn't imagine wanting to be a part of this group.
Well, I mean, again, the friend that expresses the ideas about like, oh, this just activists it's just bullshit. They're just wasting time, and like they're just getting it so that they can get attention. It's like, yeah, that's about right. Like I live in Portland. I've seen it all my life here. And it's like, okay, did that accomplish anything? No. And are the people that show up to those the most insufferable people on earth? For the most part. And some of them, I assume, are doing good, and they actually care and are trying to do things outside of standing around outside and bothering people. But yeah, for my history in Portland is like, I just see it as like, okay, well, this is just a cover for getting a bunch of, anarchist black bloc people to start fucking up shit in the city and cause damages. historically that's kind of what happened. But anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. Maybe I'm saying too much, but this is one of those circumstances where it's like, yeah, this seems kind of like a bunch of insufferable people that are self-important, and the friend points that out. But I also love the part where Justine, this also is probably one of the most like telling character moments of the movie, and it's I wish they played more into it, where when she meets the main guy, Alejandro, and he's like, what's your top
issue
that you care about? And she's like, female genital mutilation in Africa. And I love that she says that because she just learned about it like a day ago, and that's the most important thing to her, is like she learned about something that was ooey like a day ago, has no context or like cultural understanding, is like, that's the most important thing to me. I need to stop that, which is pretty indicative of of the level of like commitment and whatever for people that join these groups. I'm super cynical about it.
Dude,
I had
sorry, JM, you go.
No. Please, by all means, I'll share.
I was just gonna
after.
say, like, it's crazy to me that it's even the main issue, quote unquote, in this movie is female genital mutilation in foreign countries, because we have male genital mutilation in this country and nobody cares. What is going on? We have little boys and we cut their pee-pee. That's weird. Where's my foreskin?
Yeah, men's rights. This is what happens when Sydney isn't on an episode. We're just going to devolve into men's rights.
Well, listen,
boy.
I think it's all bad. Let's not cut anyone's anything.
Unless you're into that.
Yeah, unless you're into that. I had a little bit of a different reading on it, and like, it's true that it's silly that this is her most important topic after like one day, but I mean, the whole point, right, is to sort of set the table for there being different cultural standards that are just normal for other cultures, right? And so that leads us into the tribe. It's not like the tribe is evil. They just happen to eat people, and they just happen to like capture people and be warlike and stuff. And so I think that was good, but I think it also talks about the Justine character in a lot of ways, the same way that when she finds out about it in class, she speaks up and is like, my dad's a lawyer for the United Nations and we need to stop it, and I think he can do it. She's just like a sheltered rich girl, like a sheltered, spoiled person that didn't know that the world is a terrible place until college, right? And so she's like, wait, people do this to other people, like people can hurt other people. So it shows her naivety and almost like she's like an ingenue, right? Like everything is fresh for her.
Yeah, and that's also like, I mean, one of the points that the film probably does a good job of making is that, these rich white girls and university students are just used as pawns for larger movements that they don't even realize that they're taking part in. Like, there's a lot of shady stuff that's going on, and it's revealed. I mean, not as direct and evil as it's portrayed in this movie, where it's eventually revealed that it's like, oh, actually, we're also in the pockets of corporations and like moneyed interests, and this is all just to say this is how the world works, and that it's all surface level, it's all for views and attention, so that supposedly you can impact the next cause more directly, but there's no there is what you see by the end of the movie.
This was since this was the third time I've watched this movie, I think I actually feel like I understood the tribe a lot better this go around, whereas the other times I was really focused on like how gory it was and how like the terrible things they do. But really, they, I don't think you could call them evil. Like they're
not.
What they're doing is they're capturing people who they think are the people deforesting their land and driving out and killing them. And they're like, okay, these are, the enemy, and we're going to kill them like the enemy, and we're going to eat them to sustain our tribe. But really, it's not like they are just capturing people to capture them and eat them. They're doing this for a purpose because they're being invaded.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll push back on that. Like, there's not really a strong reason why they have to eat them other than revenge and punishment, because
it's food. I mean,
they've got just flocks of cattle and pigs and chickens running around. Like, there's plenty to feed the entire tribe. It's not like they're starving.
But if you had your own chickens, but then, your neighbor dies and that's, I mean, are you going to kill your chickens, or there's free meat right there?
Right.
I mean, the real question we should be asking is, have you ever had long pig? Like,
what is long pig?
That's human flesh.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, we supposedly taste like pork. Is how that term came about. Yeah, so we're the long pigs.
What if we're just super tasty? And it's like, of course you're going to want tasty. A steak versus chicken.
I bet it's not bad, if you can get
over
the fact that it's a person. Of course you're going to want long pig
instead of steak. It's just, we're just the tastiest, especially the, pampered white university students. That's rarefied air of, that's like grass-fed, free
a little
range
doughy. Yeah, stuff. A little doughy, not stressed out. Yeah, because you don't want to stress your meat out is the thing. So
I think they stressed the meat out in this one.
yeah, towards the end, definitely. You got a lot of adrenaline in it. I got like a little bit of a ritualistic aspect to it. When that shaman woman is like digging out the eyeballs and the tongue and drinking the blood. It kind of reminded me of like how the Aztecs used to eat the hearts of their enemies to like absorb their strength and their soul and stuff. So like it to me, it didn't feel like revenge. It just felt like that's part of their culture, is people are just another food source as long as they're not members of their own tribe. And you find that with like a lot of cannibal tribes, I think, like in real life, is just like anybody and everybody that's not a part of us is fair game.
True.
How many?
Are we really going to make the cultural relativism argument that like, it's not that bad to eat people? It's just different.
No. I'm saying it's bad. Like there are certain things that shouldn't happen. I'm also anti-female genital mutilation.
Okay, well, I could be anti those things too, but I you know what? I think if you grow up in a tribe where eating people, especially your enemies, is normal. I don't know if there's any malice there. I think it's,
Right.
You can't be judged with the same rubric as...
Yeah. So it's wrong, but it's not evil. Like, there's no malicious intent. It's not... they're doing it because they, want to upset other people. It just is the way that it is. And they don't have it right. They have it wrong. But it's not like they're doing wrong for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the way they kill them is probably wrong. You can probably go that far because, I mean, it's one thing to, if you kill them in battle and then you bring them back and you eat them for the food. It is definitely another thing to gouge out their eyeballs and chop off all of their limbs while they're still alive. Pretty brutal.
Pretty cool.
Well, it's kind of interesting. One of the things that I thought about was, with any kind of cultural practice that allows one culture to absolutely brutalize and dehumanize another group of humans, like there has to be a strong differentiation. And I thought it was a nice touch that they were all, painted, and then it was very much a part of the society of like having these different levels based on what color of body paint is on.
Yeah.
So like the head, woman and man are like painted yellow, like full body. And then I cheated. I looked this up in the IMDb, but then like the main headhunter guy is the guy that's in all black and then has the yellow face. And then everyone else is painted red. And it's, and so if you've grown up in this culture and you see just some white kid walk through the woods, you're like, well, that's not a person. Like they're not any color. Like
They're not red.
Yeah, that's just a random animal that walked out of the woods. So like that's free reign, free game. But
did that main headhunter give you guys Molaram vibes at all? Like the shaman from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
I mean, yeah, I mean it's pretty. They use pretty common, iconography. Yeah, that and what was the other one? I can't remember. What's the movie with like the red paint over the eyes like Justine was at the end? I kept trying to think of like, what is that? Was that the Mad Max movie that did that or
was it oh god, it was the post-apocalyptic medieval one with Bob Hoskins in it, right? It's the name's escaping me. Oh god, it's going to kill me. It's a Neil Marshall movie.
Well, Google's not helpful. It just put Red Eye, which is not
that is not that.
There's
Doomsday.
another color, Doomsday. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Doomsday, I think, does the paint over the face.
So there's another color that we haven't brought up yet that they paint themselves, and it's white, which is for virgins, female virgins, I guess. When they're captured, they bring out all the women and they check them to see if they're virgins, and turns out Justine is, and so they paint her totally white with the red marks on her face.
Yeah, I didn't follow that. Like, I thought so they go around to all the girls and like the witch, the main matriarch or whatever the tribe is shoving that claw their
the raptor talon
fronts, and then hers comes out with blood, and I was like, is she checking if they're on their period? Like, I don't get it. And apparently it's checking the hymen to see if she was a virgin, which is
factually inaccurate.
Impressive, actually. In this day and age, college student. I mean, they weren't going to BYU.
Hey, maybe those other women were virgins too, except for the one that said that she slept with half of the female campus. And they just like broke it riding a bicycle or a horse or something.
Yeah, maybe they're just gymnasts,
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Which lucky.
Or maybe they just had really meaty hymens that wasn't going to do it. There's any
that's
number
the name
things.
of my band, by the way. Yeah.
The Meaty Hymens. That would be a great name for a band.
So over the course of the movie, we see a couple different methods of escape. I'm trying to remember what the first one is. I think one girl says that she is a track runner. So she's a track runner. So maybe that's how her hymen broke. But she's a track runner, so she climbs out and tries to run for it. And is she the one who later we see her tattoos show up on the kids playing with the skin and like slapping it on their backs and stuff?
That was a really good, like, yeah, I like that. Like, that's a pretty good way of showing that she's dead without, showing the actual thing. It's probably my favorite part of the movie.
Because I was like, whatever happened to the girl that got to the boat? And
we see her run to the boat, and then it cuts, and we don't really see what happens to her. But then later her skin is being worn by the children, and like at the bottom of someone's bowl when they're like eating food, and they find a tattoo at the bottom of the bowl, and that that girl who finds that just kills herself because she can't take it, which honestly, good way out in that situation, I think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like the only way that it was better is what the little boy did with blowing the sleep powder and then doing it, right?
That was a merciful child. That was pretty sweet.
Seriously. Yeah, if I was trapped in a jungle cage and knowing that I'd be, used for food, I'd find a way out pretty quick too.
So another aspect is that they have a bunch of weed because the kid from Spy Kids really likes weed, and so he has a bunch in his shoe. And when that girl kills herself, they stuff the weed down into her body so that when they cook her, they all get high. And I don't know if this is true, but my headcanon is the footage of all them laughing and partying and having a good time is just the behind the scenes footage of the tribe being themselves.
I have so many issues with this, but I will say I did call it. I was like, you're going to give them the munchies. Like, what are you doing? They're just going to eat another one of you. And that's exactly what happened. But I don't think cooking a roast of meat with a baggie of weed that's closed,
like smoking it,
is actually going to do anything to
get you high.
The meat. It's like, I mean, at least rub it on her skin or something, or just open the bag. They put the full bag of weed in the bag and just shoved it down her throat. And it's like, that protects the weed. So yeah,
it was pretty silly.
I can't believe someone didn't get fired over that detail.
Well, they're banking on fools like me who know nothing about weed, and they're like, yeah, I could see it. I mean, I didn't
imagine if you took all of your seasoning for your Thanksgiving turkey, and instead of basting it with rosemary and stuff, you just put it all in a Ziploc bag and stuffed it inside the turkey. Do you think that would be a tasty turkey?
No, it
would taste like burnt plastic, maybe, but not rosemary.
But see, I also know nothing about cooking turkeys, so if you were to tell me that's how it worked, then I would just believe you.
Well, it's probably, Eli Roth probably had the same level of roasting knowledge as Max.
Yeah, but probably some decent weed knowledge, you would think. Right. But I mean, I kind of like that they called it out for what it was. They said oh, it's a Scooby-Doo plan. And it really was. I was like, this is way too cartoony for a serious, we're going to strip your flesh and eat it like a fillet type movie. But I guess they just had to figure out some way, and he wanted to be goofy about it. I just wish they picked a more serious way of distracting everybody.
Well, I think if you go into an Eli Roth movie, you should expect some unseriousness. He's not a very
That's true.
serious filmmaker. But yeah, there's a lot of those moments where it's like, okay, this is just Eli Roth having fun. Max is.
I'm wigging out again. Sorry, I seem to be getting about 20 minutes of mileage out of this mic for some reason.
I'm not hearing the feedback, but
I thought some of the I mean, there's a lot of set pieces in this, and it was actually surprising how long it took for them to get to the horror part of this movie.
35 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, so the majority of it is just kind of a, drama of a kid getting caught up into activism and jumping into action by going to Peru. And even when you expect the action to start, which is when they go to the demolition of the Amazon and they stand up to the people, even then it's like, oh, it actually worked. And they just start going home. And then not until they crash in the forest does anything actually horrifying happen, which is, the plane crash has a lot of good moments in it, and gore including a guy's head getting chopped in half because he walked next to a propeller that was not moving very fast at all at that point.
Probably pretty strong propellers, though.
Yeah,
I guess.
probably. I did like how the pilot bought it, right? With the thing coming at his head and his head being like cut off in half and folded
Final
back.
Destination style.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, just the spear through the head was a great moment as they got found by the natives.
Did it
So
seem
there's
like
a lot
they
of
had
those
it out
moments.
for
Some
that?
of them don't land as well as others. Some of them are like, you shot probably just shouldn't have even bothered. Like the whole ant scene was like,
Yeah.
what are you going for here? It just looks like shitty CGI ants crawling on them. It's like you don't
CGI
see.
is not good enough for that
Yeah.
back then. No.
I was really wanting her to like walk up to him on the stake and be like, come on, we gotta go. And then have him like pop open and just all the ants
100%.
fall out.
Yeah,
You know, I
like
don't
his
think-
stomach bursts and all these ants come out.
I don't know if we can ever do bugs right with CGI. Just it never looks natural. I can't remember the newest movie with CGI bugs, but like I think of like what is that Indiana Jones where the ants that are like this big are crawling over the guy, like, and the mummy with the little scarabs. Like it always just looks silly, no matter how we do it.
Yeah,
We're getting there.
and even the real ones don't look good either. It's like you're either one form of bad or the other. I mean, the best example of this is just look at the original Omen and then look at the remake Omen. The original is like literally just a room full of flies, and they put flies on people. And then the remake is just all CGI flies, and it's way over the top and doesn't look realistic. And the real ones look, I mean, they must have, it's like filming rain. To even see rain on film, it has to be like so torrential that you couldn't stand in it for like more than a second before drowning. That's the same thing with insects. Like you gotta literally be swimming in a pool full of flies for it to look like there's a swarm of flies next to you.
Right.
You know, I have an embarrassing thing to admit about The Omen. I decided I should probably watch The Omen because I am part of a horror movie podcast and I've never seen The Omen. So I sat down and watched The Omen. It
It wasn't The Omen. It was Amityville Horror. That's the one that I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. Well,
the Amityville Horror original and remake. Not
well.
The
Still,
Omen, sorry.
I sat down and watched The Omen. It was like 2 hours long, and then I checked and I watched the remake. I didn't even watch the original one, so I still haven't seen The Omen.
You watched
Which
the
I should
one
have known
with
because it was like 2009.
What's her name from 10 Things I Hate About You?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first time I tried watching The Omen, I was house sitting and I was like a teenager and I was super high and a little scared. And then I started hearing weird noises in the backyard. And it turns out that the dog in the back had eviscerated like the biggest rat I've ever seen and was like just trailing its guts everywhere. And she was like howling. And I spent the next hour trying to get dead rat out of this dog's mouth as it was sort of like happily prancing along. So I didn't watch it until my 20s.
Anytime my dog finds something dead on the ground, she just rolls in it. She just wants to get it all over her body. It's like, God,
like the scent, huh?
Yeah.
That must have been horrifying to find as when you're high.
Yeah, I have a lot of experiences like that. There was a big period in my early 20s where I didn't smoke weed for like 5 years because every single time I would get high, something terrible that would be tough to cope with when you were sober would happen. So I was just like, I'm weed cursed. So I can't pack a dead body full of weed and smoke it anymore. So.
Yeah. What? Okay, my thoughts about the smoking is like maybe it was this maybe the weed baggie burned through, and then the smoke it was just pumping this.
They were just hotboxing the jungle, essentially. Yeah.
Although that wouldn't be very beneficial for you in the cage.
Right. Well, I mean, unless you're used to it, which I guess college kids are, maybe. Just the idea that there's like super powered weed like that is a little cartoony. They were like, it's Peruvian. It's all kinds of different, and yeah, it's pretty silly. Like, I don't know that I've ever gotten a contact high before, but the idea of people getting a contact high in the middle of a jungle where there's all this open free space. Did I leave?
No,
sorry.
Made you
This is me.
huge.
I'm playing around. I shouldn't be playing around with stuff. My bad.
No, that's okay. I just was like, I don't exist anymore.
I thought that was just for me. I didn't realize it was for everyone.
For everybody.
That's okay. Yeah, contact highs need to happen in enclosed spaces, not the Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the movie, we get Justine is kind of tied up and they're going to do the very thing that she says is her biggest issue is they want to cut her clitoris off. Is that how?
I believe so.
This is confusing to me because that seems usually like it's a right to achieve womanhood. It's like a rite of passage. Like, does that mean they're just accepting her into the tribe? Because that seems like not something you would do to your food.
It seems, and this sounds horrible, but I mean, if you're a warlike people who capture both men and women, it doesn't surprise me that you're keeping some of the women.
Yeah. It's a little bit more surprising that they're only picking the pure one as opposed to the others, but I guess it's about that. They kind of like when they were prepping Justine as the virgin to be mutilated, they were also kind of intercutting it with kids getting ready, and so I kind of got the vibe that they were preparing her for marrying one of the boys in the tribe. And that was like sort of a thing. And historically, that's what different cultures have done, right? Is assimilate the good women or the pure women or the hot women into their culture to spread the gene pool a bit.
Yeah.
It's true.
So, but she is able to escape because she, over the course of the movie, has been befriending one of the young boys, and he helps her escape. And she rips out the giant piercing of that one lady, which was that. Ooh, that gave me the.
Every time one of those kids got close to the cage, when they're like, with that giant like stick through their nose, I'm like, why don't you just grab that thing? Just like, got your nose.
Got your nose. So, and something we haven't really, I mean, we touched on it, but it's a really important part of the movie is that when they came there to stop the deforestation, it was a plan set by a different company that wanted to go in and bulldoze through and claim the land, I guess. So basically they stopped one company from tearing down trees, and then Alejandro knew that there was going to be another company in a couple days coming through and tearing down those same trees. And so he's less worried. He thinks that, they're going to make their way here and they're going to find us. And what ends up happening is Justine escapes and runs all the way to the forest clearing and finds that this company, who's also a militia, I guess, is just shooting up all the tribal people. And she's able to make her escape that way. But she specifically tells them not to go back for Alejandro because she says there's no one there.
I like that. And I thought it was interesting too. Like, Alejandro, he's like in the pocket of this other logging company, right? But his logic is still that he wants to help people. He's just like, well, this was a PR stunt to get more exposure, which will help us with like the real problem or something. Like, it's a very cynical way of like climbing the ethical attention ladder, right? Like, he's still saying like he wants to be like a do-gooder. He's just doing it in the most crass, cynical, exploitative, jaded sort of way.
It's true.
So I'm a little confused about the ending, and maybe you guys understood it better than I did. So there's a fake out, which is totally unnecessary, where Justine is walking and Alejandro is like, "Hey, it's me. I made it out of the jungle." And then she like opens her mouth, like unhinges her jaw like a snake, and there's like teeth everywhere, and she like chomps down on his neck. And that was just a dream, so it doesn't really matter. But what does matter is when she wakes up and looks out her window, there's people like with signs that are chanting. What are they chanting for? What exactly is supposed to be the ending?
I think it was just another cause. I can't remember if it matters what the cause was, but the most important part was that they had Alejandro's face on their shirts, like Che Guevara.
Yeah. I think it was just another cause, and they had a different person leading who was over the top and playing a guitar and stuff. And so it's like, oh, okay, this like bullshit, fake, environmentally conscious group is still going on, and now they have a figurehead because they don't know what a slime ball he was. They didn't know that he was the kind of guy to just randomly masturbate in the middle of like death and diarrhea. So
yeah, that was the most like non sequitur thing in the entire movie. Is like, wait, what? And his explanation is like, you just gotta chill, bro. You gotta
get the stress out. Gotta relieve the stress. Maybe he wanted to make his meat tastier, so like he reduces.
I think it was just
level.
like he was. Wasn't the one girl dying at the time? Maybe that just like
I think
that was
she
his thing.
Just killed herself, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and then when the guy started choking him, I was like, "No, that's only helping."
He does keep going, and seems like he's fine with it. Yeah. So that explains a little bit about the ending, because I, for some reason, was thinking, because they're all holding signs with his face on it, and I'm like, are they like standing outside Justine's door being like, I know what you did, and like, but no, they're just using him as a figurehead then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for some reason, she's like, she defends the tribes people in the Amazon. Like, how does that make it make sense?
I think she just wants them to be left alone so that they leave everybody else alone. And it's kind of like a let them do their own thing. Maybe she realized that they're not evil. They're just quote unquote backwards. And so she's, just trying to keep them as a no contact tribe.
See, that's the colonist in me. If I was almost eaten by a tribe, I would just say, fuck them. Like, yes. Please take their home.
Yeah.
I would like to make a coffee table out of those trees.
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time defending the tribe after being stuck in the cage and put into stirrups so a bone knife could cut my clit off.
Yeah. I think, though, what she's seeing is that they were doing what they were doing in almost retaliation to the people trying to kick them out of their land. And she saw good in like that boy who freed her. And so I guess in her mind, she's thinking like, if we leave them alone, they don't do these terrible things. They're just like a peaceful tribe, which is not known and not verifiable. But I don't know. It is crazy. I think it's one thing to see the horrors like from a bird's eye view and be like, no, this is like a situational thing, versus being put directly into it and experiencing it firsthand and then still being like, no, they're chill. Don't worry. It was just the environment they were placed in.
Do you think it was Stockholm Syndrome? Like she just grew to love them because she was put in a chaotic hostage situation?
I think it definitely could have been. I don't know if the movie was trying to say that specifically, but I think that, it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who would enjoy watching this movie? Who would you recommend this to?
I think any Cannibal Jungle completist should watch it. Eli Roth completist, and maybe that's about it.
I mean, I wouldn't shy away from recommending it to any Eli Roth fan. Definitely. I mean, it's definitely the same vein as Cabin Fever. If you like Cabin Fever, like, this is just Cabin Fever with a different plot. It's the same kind of attitude, same kind of cringe humor takes that seems anachronistic nowadays, but also, it's kind of nice seeing someone say, "Well, that's retarded." It's like, I'm sorry, I'm still holding on to my youth. I'm like, anyways, yeah. So if you're a fan of Eli Roth, this is pretty consistent with his other movies. Not his highest quality one, but yeah, I wouldn't shy away from recommending it to them.
Yeah. I think if you're just kind of tired of the Blumhouse spooky haunted house situation and you want something different, this is definitely different. So you maybe check it out.
That's true. Although, maybe we could recommend they go seek out the 70s and 80s Italian jungle movies also, right?
What are some other ones? Because I've seen Cannibal Holocaust. But are there other big ones that are important to see? Yeah.
So I pulled up a list on Letterboxd because I'm a film dork, and the list has 31 movies, and I've seen 8 of them. Jungle Holocaust was interesting. I watched Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals, which was okay. Cannibal Ferox, Mountain of the Cannibal God, Zombie Holocaust, which is also called Dr. Butcher MD. They all have things to like about them. The most recent one that I watched was Jungle Holocaust, and that one had a really interesting tribe situation where they're inside of a cave, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and if you're a little more inclusive of backwoods as jungle, like Wrong Turn, The Hills Have Eyes, kind of stuff is pretty similar.
Bone Tomahawk, kind of.
Bone Tomahawk, yeah.
Yeah, Bone Tomahawk, I think, counts as one of these, definitely.
Cool. Well, if there's
good.
nothing else to talk about with the Green Inferno, JM, do you want to kind of walk us through your project and the cause you're doing it for?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for giving me my platform. So, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, it is a charity book. It's a comic horror anthology. It's got about 25 stories from different writers. Some have done Marvel stories. We have one writer, this is his second comic story ever, named Tim Wagner, but he has made a name for himself as a Bram Stoker Award winner and a Shirley Jackson Award winner. And he also basically has sort of cornered the market on novelizations of horror movies. So he's done all the Terrifier books and dozens of others, and even wrote books about writing horror adaptations. We have comedian and podcaster Riley Silverman with her very first comic story ever. It's a really nice mix. There's some newbies in there that are really cool, some underground writer and artists, and me. I have a pretty good story in there too. And then we have it sort of as a half art book. And so it's artists from the comic world and the horror world and the metal world. It's sort of all mixed together. It's just sort of my wish list of artists. And we have Skinner, who has done a Mastodon album cover and a High on Fire album cover. He's in the art book, but he also contributed one of the covers. We have 3 different covers. Chad J. Keith, who's another horror metal artist, and Jonathan Lamantia, who's also a very accomplished horror and metal artist. The organizations that we're benefiting are Churla for immigrant rights and Lambda Legal for the LGBTQIA rights. We're in pre-launch right now on Kickstarter, so I'm just trying to get the word out so people can follow us on pre-launch. It's really important, even if you're not going to be contributing to the project. If you just sign up for the pre-launch, that really helps us because that changes the Kickstarter algorithm and makes us easier to find for other people. So people can follow us at bit.ly/horror not hate with the first letter of each word being capital, so HNH. Or you can follow us on Instagram at slowfeetcomics, or me personally at j.m.brandt.
Cool, and we'll make sure to add those links to our show description, so people should be able to just go check it out from there. So
yeah.
Is there a timeline for when you're hoping to have it available?
When it's launching? Yeah. So basically, I've been a part of a Kickstarter anthology in the past and backed several others. And with those, there was like a huge wait between people having their collections or donations collected or their backing collected and getting the actual book. And so I really want to make sure that we have the book print ready by the time the campaign is done. So we are going to launch sometime in December. We're almost there as far as being done. And then the only thing left would be me putting the book together from the different stories. So sometime in December, I'm hoping for like December 15th.
Okay. And the actual comic is going to be Horror Not Hate. Is that right?
Yeah, so Horror Not Hate is the name of the book, and the stories are all sort of socially conscious horror. It's all based around hate, fascism, transphobia, homophobia, xenophobia, racism, and toxic patriotism. All different kinds of styles. Some of the stories are funny, some of the stories are really dark. Some of the art styles are cartoony. Some of them are really serious, like the one that you're scrolling over right now. That's artwork by Kayla Beatty, and that's a story that's about like a concentration camp during World War II. So it's pretty dark. And then we also have stuff that's, really sort of tongue-in-cheek also. So even if you're not a comic fan, you're going to enjoy it because it's good horror for a good cause. And they're all very short stories. They're between 4 and 11 pages each. But, you could get it for the art book portion too. And it's just going to be like a really cool collection of art.
So right now, like on Kickstarter, you're just asking people to be notified. Is it eventually going to be asking for like donations, or is it just going to come out as a book that people can buy?
No. So eventually you can just buy it. We're going to have it available after the campaign, but basically the way that it works is we have people sign up for the pre-launch, and that will keep them updated. Like yesterday, so I don't know when this pod is dropping, but Friday the 21st, I revealed the second of the 3 covers that we're going to have, the main covers, and the people that signed up for the pre-launch find that stuff first. Or we're sharing some images from the art book in there that other people aren't seeing. And, we're also previewing some of the artist's other works as we announce stuff. So all the up-to-date updates are going to go to the Kickstarter first. And then once we do finally launch in mid to late December, that will run for 30 days, and there's going to be a bunch of different options as far as purchase levels. We're going to have merch available that you can only get during the campaign, t-shirts, posters, stickers, really cool stuff. We also are partnering with several companies, some horror t-shirt companies. Hopefully, I'm in talks with a couple different movie companies about donating stuff that we're going to use as backer rewards. So you might be able to get the book, but also a movie in addition. Or one of our artists, his name is Sean Aberg. He has had like this DIY punk rock clothing company and merch company called Goblinko, Goblinko, which has some really cool stuff, and he's donating some stuff for that. He also made his own tabletop role-playing game called Dungeon Degenerates, so I believe we're going to have some Dungeon Degenerates starter kits available also. And, while I'm not allowed to say on the Kickstarter that all the money being raised is going to charity, all the money being raised is going to charity. The creators aren't taking a bite out of it. It's just we're covering printing costs, we're covering fulfillment, and we're covering the Kickstarter fees, and then everything else is going to be split into 2 donations.
Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
trying to do some good.
Reach out to us when it's live and or published, and we'll definitely plug it on a future episode and
I appreciate
direct
it.
people there. Do you have a Patreon?
I don't have a Patreon associated with it. No, we're raising the funds solely through the Kickstarter.
Okay.
But if people want to donate outside of that and help me out, right now we have no advertising budget except for a contribution given to us graciously by a horror news website, who I think wanted to remain anonymous about the contribution. Otherwise, I have no ad budget to get the word out. So if you want to donate, but you don't want to be a part of the Kickstarter, or you don't want your name listed on inside the book or something like that, you can always contact me directly. Yeah, every bit helps. Yeah.
Well, it sounds really cool. I think that a lot of our listeners would really enjoy following along with that and being prepared for it to launch. So please go check out this project, Horror Not Hate, and give them a follow. Check them out on Kickstarter. We'll link that below.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's on Instagram at Slow Feet Comics, and at JM's Instagram as well that I don't have pulled up. So
it's okay. It's j.m.brandt.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, cool.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today, JM.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for giving me a reason to revisit this movie. I'm so glad that I enjoyed it more this time, because I remember coming out of the theater and just being like to my wife, like, I can't believe I sat through that. Eli Roth, he's full of so many good ideas. Basically, I want to be Eli Roth. I want to make the jungle cannibal movies and the slasher movies based off of like random holidays. And oh God, what was the one with RZA? A Man with the Iron Fist, like all that stuff sounds amazing. Every single one of his movies has the best idea, just like not the best execution. So
right, yeah,
I'm super envious of him.
Yeah, that's probably why he does better as a producer. I think like he
agree.
I think he can get ideas greenlit. He's not the best writer. He's an okay director.
He's an okay director,
but. Yeah, I think he's better serving the film community as
he's
a producer.
He's an idea man, right? He's an idea man, and he's a representative of our community of misfits that like the weird horror movies and genre films.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you to anyone listening. Again, if you want to call into the show, that's 682-253-4468. What is the number? Right? Actually forgetting that. I've said it every week for 2 years.
682-253-4468.
Okay, I said it right. And thank you for listening, and thank you again to JM for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir. You lose. You get nothing.
Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
I just took a stroll through the scraggly woods.
He had no face.
Horror!
Wow, that didn't sound good.